the weather gets better out there. She has to enjoy her time out there a little bit longer. Uh, I want to really start off with the fact that, as always, our crazy president Donald Trump has managed to do something to shock us continually. He never fails to disappoint. So today, Donald Trump decided to do the most bold thing that hasn't been done in the past, since the 60s, so going on about 50 years. Donald Trump has decided to fire the person who was running his investigation on him, the director of the FBI. So now we have no one running the FBI who was really the main mastermind behind all of our national security, the one who really keeps us protected. We no longer have that security anymore. So it's going to be really crazy times to see what's going to happen. You see Trump doing a lot of things where it's not really adding up, like him repealing healthcare. He just doing that to, I think, to show out and to kind of make an effect, to make it seem like he's doing better when he's really just trying to do things for shock value. Same thing why like the new president of North Korea also thinks Trump is doing things for shock value because they want to squeeze and tighten down on North Korea by putting sanctions on them compared to having discussions and some mutual ground, or trying to find some middle ground with the opposing countries that we're interacting in. So I think we have to really just hold on and keep aware of what's going on in our country, and also make sure that we try to get Trump out of office as fast as possible. He's going to do something that's going to be eligible to get him impeached. So we just have to watch for the signs. And when that moment comes, we have to act fast as a country. So in other news, there has been some slight buzz in Hollywood. There's been reports of Miley Cyrus saying that she's done with hip hop culture because it's too misogynistic and it's too much Lamborghini, Rolex, and fellatio for the most part. Which I find really funny because when Miley Cyrus first came into the hip hop scene, that's what she was all about. She had that song with Mike Will made it and Juicy J. I think it went in the club, high up perp with my shades on. I mean, she was completely endorsing that trap side of the hip hop scene, and she was always seen playing with dildos on stage, or pretending to give head to like blow up dolls. It's a whole bunch of crazy stuff, right? And she used to be running around the stage half naked. So I find it really crazy how Miley Cyrus went from this hip hop almost sex figure to someone who's saying, "Oh, now I don't want to hear about guys telling me to give them head, or I want to see you naked in my Ferrari, or things of that nature." Now she's kind of going a complete 180 and acting like she didn't join the culture, not that we invited her into it. So I think it's really crazy that these some of these artists who try to come into the hip hop culture and come into this black culture try to assimilate to it, but when it doesn't respond to them as well as they want to, then they try to turn away from it and almost shame it. I find that really, really, really crazy. Hey, they said they can't see us on Facebook Live. Sorry. Yeah. So we'll get that Facebook Live fixed up for you, but let's see what else is happening in this crazy world that we have. Oh yeah, the Met Gala had happened a prior weeks past. So it was a really nice event to see. There was a lot of A-list stars. We had Frank Ocean, P Diddy, the Kardashians were there. The Smiths were there. Jaden Smith and Will Smith were there reportedly. ASAP Rocky, Vera Wang. Just a whole bunch of different upstars and names just meeting at this place. And we talked about it yesterday, but I saw that there were some more scenes surfacing from it. Like Diddy had posted this post on Instagram where he had cropped out the Kardashians at the end of the picture, and it said caption hashtag Team Love hashtag Black Excellence. I find it really funny that P Diddy's really that type of pettiness. Sorry, he's that type of petty to really go and do something like that. I also read a report about Diddy. I guess he's having a lawsuit with this chef who he was forced, or no, Diddy forced the chef to cook while he was naked in front of him and try to praise his penis. So now Diddy's facing some heat for that. So we'll have to see what happens with P Diddy. That man's definitely a one of a kind. fellow for sure. In other news, it seems like Brad Pitt is trying to leave his marriage. That's really sad. I was hoping to see that actually pan out. I hope they're gonna work that out. I wonder what's gonna happen to the kids. What does it say? And he's doing the cover of GQ, and it looks like he is trying to find his serenity. He says in an interview he did with GQ. This interview says Pitt is one of the first to acknowledge that it has been chaos in this past 6 months when he calls a weird time. In a conversation, he also absolutely locked in for one moment, twitchy and forlorn in the next, having been put on a journey where he didn't intend himself to make. It was self-inflicted. But the worst of it surfaced in the public this past September. He was on a private flight to Los Angeles where a reported altercation between Pitt and one of his children. Anonymous calls made to the authorities, which triggered an FBI investigation. So I think that miscommunication that led in that situation was really a detriment onto their whole situation. And so I really wish them the best for that. I don't never wish any ill will on someone. I think we should all be able to work out our problems. If we're able to work out our problems, then we'll come to a better place in life where we can, really join in unity and come to working together. So I think that as we as society figure out how to work on one-on-one with each other, we'll find a better place to be in life. Especially, I really feel that, like, especially in the Black community, we really lack that. And I think that we should fix that by trying to acknowledge the lack of leadership that we have. We try to make some of these figures, these celebrities, the head of Black culture, and hope that they do something. But I think we really need to start stepping up and taking these roles in our communities. There was a ball dropped at one point where there was a lack of fellowship and a lack of leadership. So people were just looking to stand for themselves and strive for themselves. We really fell short in that aspect because now we have, youth like me who are trying to find the right direction to head towards and the right path to go in. And so now we're at a point where everything is kind of unfolding and unturmoiling. Basically, we're in a state of mass turmoil. There's a lot going on in this world right now. I'm not sure if you're all aware, but there's the ISIS being in Syria. That's creating a lot of issues where now we're now involved in that publicly, and it seems like the world is very on edge. It seems like we're almost in a place where things are only going to get worse from here on out. And so it brings us to a point where it's like, okay, if these things start occurring, where do we go from here? How do we proceed? How do we get to the next step as a society instead of focusing how to get there as an individual? Most people just want to fend for self, but they're not thinking of, okay, how can my community survive? If we all band together, how can we survive? We're too focused on the idea of, oh, well, I have to protect what's mine. If we weren't a society, we wouldn't even have some of the things that we would have. Imagine if people were still off striving for themselves. There wouldn't be these big communities or these cities. There wouldn't be these workplaces where you get to meet new people and build relationships and find things that you might have an interest and things of that nature. We really have to understand that to work as a functioning society, regardless of what happens, we have to have some type of unity, and so we have to find a way to start bringing equality and understanding back into the aspects of society, which means that we're gonna have to rid ourselves of some troubled people who are disheveling this. So I think once we can find a way to get these people out of power, we'll come to a better stance where we have greater meaning in everything that we do. Especially as African Americans, I think that we should really try to upstand each other. Excuse me. We should try to uplift each other, and when we do outstanding things, make sure that people are acknowledging and recognizing these things. We really need to start building up each other and teaching each other how to survive and fend for ourselves. There are people out here with skill sets, and people without here with revenue and relationships who can help so many people. Like, for example, a couple nights ago, Nicki Minaj randomly got on Twitter and she started telling people, oh, tweet me. I forgot what type of information I had to tweet her, but they're basically tweeting her, reaching out because she was saying she was going to pay off some of their student debts. That just goes to show that, when people really look out and see their community hurting, that they can reach into the goodness of their hearts and, try to help out that situation. I'm not saying that she did that completely just out of the kindness of her heart. I'm pretty sure there's some type of, financial tax benefit or some type of, like relief that she'll get from that. But still in the fact that she saw that people who were once like her are hurting and now she's taking the opportunity to, take what she's gotten and make it triple and release it onto people so now that they can survive and try to, and better themselves in lives. So as far as that aspect goes, I really think that it would be a good idea for us to just, band together as a society. Uh, let's see what else I can talk about. Uh, so I've been watching Netflix recently. I've been looking at some of the different shows they have on there, like 13 Reasons Why. I think it's a bit peculiar that they would have a show which openly depicts suicide like that. But I mean, I guess it's been critically acclaimed. I haven't finished watching it yet, so I haven't been able to make my full ideas and regards about that. But I'll eventually work my way into delving into that. But the reason why I brought this up, I want to get into this particular show called Dear White People. It's a show brought on by Netflix, and it's basically showing, the current happenings that are going on in our society with police brutality, which is still a significant and tremendous effect that's happening even to this day, where we're still having black youth being killed by police officers. So it's basically taking the introspective of college life and seeing that pushed on to these students and them having to deal with the current situations that we go through now. So I would highly recommend anyone if they're interested in anything like that to go check it out. It's pretty funny for the most part. It has some humorical satire, so that's pretty cool. Uh, let's see what else. What else is going on? Let's see what else is going on. Looks like Trump's still getting crazier. Let's see. Sorry, y'all. Bear with me. So to dwell back a little bit more into Trump firing our FBI director. CNN has written a report that James Comey was the one that both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump would have likely fired during the 2016 campaign. Now that one of them has done it, it may be a decision the president will regret. So basically, what I'm seeing from this is Connolly's dismissal is not an earthquake because Trump is the first president to fire an FBI director. As a former FBI director, William Sessions told me in an interview over a decade ago, President Bill Clinton made clear he wanted Sessions fired after assuming office in 1993. So it seems like there's been some tension with this FBI director and this Jeff Sessions for quite a while. So it seems like there's been a quite a mistrigue in that. But what truly led him to get removed from office today was the fact that, let's see, what does it say? Comey came into office as a good government Republican that had assumed was a dying breed, having fought the National Security Agency's domestic surveillance program as a member of John Ashcroft's Department of Justice in the Judge W. Bush years. He seemed like a brilliant partisan choice for FBI director after his esteemed Robert Mueller had finally took his retirement earned in 2013. So it seemed like he's been in office for quite a while and he's been respected. But now Trump has gone as far as to remove him, especially when he was being looked into for the Russia accusations that have been made about him. So it seems that that's only gonna get Trump closer to impeachment because it seems like Connolly was digging too close to home, and Trump got a little scared about that. Let's see what else happened. I don't know what I want to talk to y'all about. I guess I can go and start saying More recently, I've been looking into different avenues of things that I've been wanting to get into. So I've been trying to, expand my knowledge and expand my interest and see what I kind of like. So I've been kind of looking into different stuff, like like trying to get into coding or digital marketing and things of that nature. So, oh, by the way, I'm probably just gonna give you like y'all a little bit about myself since y'all know me from doing the show, but y'all really haven't got much deep insight on the person I am. So I think I'm just gonna take my opportunity to share that information with y'all today. So, but back to what I was saying, I've been looking into getting into different things like like digital coding or like making an own independent business or whatever. So I've been kind of looking into these things, and I've been coming to discover that it's really hard for African Americans to make it without having to go through extra leaps and hurdles as it is as other people. And I only say that to say that it seems like when you really get down to it, everyone's looking at it like, oh well, I want to get to this certain goal, I want to achieve a certain height, but it's like, okay, well, I'm trying to go do all these different steps and all these different avenues, but it always seems like there's something, blocking me. And I really had to learn that, really have to have some patience sometimes in order to get somewhere in life. Sometimes we let, social media and watching people's how their lives are maneuvering and judging their lives off based off of our lives and stuff. Kind of been coming to the conclusion that it's really just about having the patience and seeing your journey through and really speaking positive progression about it. So if you want to go do something in life, I recommend anyone to really take the initiative and to go look into how they can succeed and how that you can do it. Because once you start speaking these things forward and making the positive actions and the proper steps for it, you'll really start to see things open up for the most part. Cause I've been making music for about 7 years now, and it started out a really rough battle. I was doing the whole YouTube craze when YouTube was popping up, so I started doing YouTube songs. My first song that I did was Ransom. It was a Drake beat that I found, copied it off YouTube, downloaded it or whatever. So that was my first song. Rough recording, rough management. Really just trying to figure it out of myself as a young kid, just taking on the aspect and the ideals of what it takes to be a rapper. I thought just to be say a bunch of just cool sounding stuff on the mic and you'll be popular, but I found out there's really much more to that once you start delving and looking into the hip hop culture. So as I was advancing through my career, I've met a couple different obstacles. I've seen a couple different things. Like I had met this gentleman and he had wanted to put me on his label. And so we had made a couple singles. One of them, City Lights. You can still go check that out online. I believe it should be City Lights the Poet. That was made by Roddy Raw Music, 57 Records Entertainment. That was a song that him and I worked on. It's a cool little record, cool little song. For the most part, I really think that it wasn't where I am now. I don't think if I continue to work with that man, I think I'd probably be in a more R&B pop space for the most part. But with working with him, I started to discover more of my musicality and really see the different avenues that I could go in. And so if you even go online and go looking searching a little bit, like type in Roddy Raw Music, you'll see a couple different songs that I did with him. I have another song that was part of a single collection that we were doing, Samuel Feeling. It's basically the song talking about how I was damaged by someone who had betrayed me, and basically, like every time I thought about them, like it keeps like having the same reoccurring feelings. So all one night was working with this gentleman. We were talking about contracts and things like that. So when it finally got down to it, him and I came to an agreement that we were going to be working together. So I had started recording a project starting in 2013. I was catching the bus from Long Beach to Anaheim every weekend, staying over there, doing overnight sessions, and really getting into, you know, building songs and making music. I recorded about like 22 songs, but only about 12 of them had actually made it on my what was gonna be my album with him. So we go through the whole process of recording, shooting videos. I shot a video with this rapper from I think he was from L.A. His name was Papa. And there was this other girl that he was with. They added their manager, or whatever. So we had even set that up where we are gonna work with other different acts and start making these connections. And he always just told me like, "Oh yeah, like I'm just waiting on you. I have connections in Disney. I have connections just everywhere. Just really selling the game for the most part." And so when it all kind of fell down to it, we had finished recording the album. Everything was mixed and mastered or whatever. And then it came to the point where he was like, "Okay, we're at the final steps. So now I want to put you in a position where we can really get this going. So here goes this contract." And so, I read it over. I'm looking through the whole contract. And, basically the contract is saying that everything that I do will be through his company and it would have to be for a 5-year contract. And I told him, like, I'm not comfortable doing a 5-year contract. I was trying to, get some renegotiations going and everything like that. So we started talking everything out, but we ended up meeting kind of a dead end, an impasse for the most part, because I wanted the limit lowered to 3 years, but he wanted to stick it to 4 or 5, and I just wouldn't agree to that. I would still be in that contract today had I not went through with that. So after going back and forth with him, trying to get some legal issues discussed, it kind of didn't work out, and everything fell through. So I recorded a good year and a half's worth of music, and I lost everything completely. So that goes into about year 3 of me becoming a musician. So at that point, I was really kind of in a lost path, and I was still kind of recovering from past histories of reoccurring feelings, having to deal with just the urge just to get back into the game. And so it kind of took me a while to finally get back into a place where I can fully start recording a project and get past the lost feelings as an artist. It's really hard to let go of music, something that you really crafted from your heart and that you really dug deep into your soul. It's kind of hard to move past losing something like that, because if when you really give your craft your all, you're gonna feel some major attachments to that. So it took me a while to learn that you really have to just wait and see things through. You don't know how long it's ever going to take you to get there. All you have to do is really just believe in your craft and take the patience. Like, I could hardly ever, really keep flow at one point. I really started to be able to flow like in my last like 2-3 years of rapping, really getting like the rhythm down packed, the method and technique. So, if you have your dreams, you really just need to stick to your ambitions and, see what's good for you. Following your dreams can take you a long way. Uh, let's see what else I can talk about here. I want to say my condolences. We lost another star today. So rest in peace to Christopher Big Black. He was a star in Robin Big. It seems like, oh my, he passed away from a heart attack this morning. It seems like he looks like he was going through some health issues. Let's see. People magazine did an interview, and his partner from his show, Robin Big, says it was a strange period. Deirdre said in a March 2016 interview with Graham Benson about the difficult period between himself and Boykin after the show's end. I've been a pro skateboarder for many years, so me transitioning to mainstream fame was relatively smooth. Right, where for him the idea, like he liked working security, and 2 years earlier now he's on television, it was a much different dynamic. I think we both struggled with, I didn't want to be known as Rob from Robin Big, and he didn't want to be known like the sidekick. So that created a lot of tension between me and him. According to Deirdre, the duo was paid the same in that era. Deirdre goes on to say, I think it was more than fundamental struggle of wanting to not be connected to each other. Deirdre also added, ultimately, we had a big blowout creatively over an idea. Things were so tense that certain times it was funny to think about it, but now we literally would have to film the funniest things we'd ever done and losing it, then walk away from each other and not talk. It was super bizarre. And it looks like Big left behind a 9-year-old daughter. So prayers goes out to the Boykin family, and hope everything. I hope they can find peace in his loss. Um, let's see, what else can I talk about? Uh, let's see. I've also been recently. Let's see. How am I trying to phrase this? I've been recently looking into different marketing schemes and looking at how to, how things can be better presented. And I'm really noticing that marketing really comes down to like, the self perception of, really producing oneself and, making the best interest for you. And marketing can really be used in a lot of different avenues, like just other than business, it can be used socially too. Like you can use marketing in things like, like dating profiles, like, you market yourself to make like, point out your best features and stuff like that. I've also come to realize that not too many people know how to properly market themselves, and some lack the proper avenues to do so. So I've been looking into some different courses and how to go about that. If anyone's interested in learn more about marketing, I have a couple different links that I can advise you to start building that skill set. Some of them are paid for, some of them are free. So there's different things that you can look into. But there's that. Um, let's see what else. What else? What else? Uh, let's see what's going on in the news aside from Trump. Okay, so there's an article that a man was found guilty of murdering a missing California cheerleader whose body was never found. Uh, Antolin Garcia Torres has been found guilty in murder of missing cheerleader Sierra Lamar and is now facing the death penalty, even as the teenager's body has never been recovered. The 26-year-old was convicted on Tuesday for 4 felony counts, including first-degree murder and kidnapping in Santa Clara County, California. A court spokesman reports to People. We've been praying for the chapter to have an ending of this justice. Lamar's mother, Marlene Lamar, told the reporters. We're grateful for the jury for coming to the right decision. She added, it gives us peace as a family, knowing that this won't happen to another child and you can't get away with something like this. Garcia Torres was arrested for 2 months after Sierra 15 disappeared on her way onto the bus from a stop in March. The teen's cell phone discovered near a field near her home, and her purse and her school books and her clothing had been dumped in another field, according to the Chronicle. DNA on the jeans led investigators to Garcia Torres, who, according to the Chronicle, lived 7 miles from Sierra, though he told the authorities they never met. In addition to In addition to that, our authorities found traces of Sierra's DNA in Garcia's car and a strand of her hair on a rope found in the vehicle's trunk. Security video also captured Garcia Torres leaving the trailer park where he lived on the morning of Sierra's disappearance. He wasn't accounted for again until 6 hours later, the Chronicle reported. Garcia Torres claimed he was on a solo fishing trip during that time. So I'm glad that this family finally got to see the piece of this after 5 years. It's been a long battle for them, so I'm glad that finally got solved and they found the piece for that. Uh, let's see what else I can talk about. To be honest, y'all, I thought I could really do this easily, and it's more talking than I thought it was gonna be. To keep it a buck with you, uh, hey man, I'm just trying to keep it honest. I'm really trying to think of what else I could talk about at this point. I'm really just rambling to myself like a crazy man.
Did you talk about the firing of
Yeah, I talked about
Comey?
the firing of Comey for a little bit. Donnie T's just real crazy, so I'm not sure what's going on in his head. I also was telling people about the South Korean president, the new South Korean president, is going up to talk to North Korea about fixing that whole situation. But instead of like pressing sanctions, he wants to just talk out their weapon programs and see how they
Yeah.
can come to a mutual agreement on that.
What are your thoughts? You think it's going to matter one way or the other?
I think as long as Donald Trump doesn't apply any negative pressure more than he already has, it should we might come to a more peaceful agreement.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's all political posturing. It sounds good, but I would be surprised if anything significant comes out of it one way or the other. I do think that the little mental midget over in North Korea is bluffing. I don't think he has the missile capabilities to launch a nuclear warhead.
You think
I
he's
think
just
it's
blowing
all.
smoke?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
You
The
know,
country is poor as hell,
right.
and I've said it before on my show that one Tomahawk missile to the head, his head,
Yeah, and
and it's over.
That'd be it.
And the rest of his military might, all of his captains and colonels and majors or whatever they have over there will fall in line and say, okay, we surrender because we have no recourse.
Right.
It's no way they can react to that kind of pounding. One missile, find out where he is, and send in and take him out.
You know what? And I do agree with you on that state, and I think this is where the whole allies thing kind of becomes, a nuance of that because
What are they going to say? Oh, man, you shouldn't have done that? No. They're going to say, I'm glad you did it, man. It's over. And then North Korea and South Korea are going to be in the streets, dancing in the streets. Hail, hail, the wicked witch is dead. And, it's party time, and I think that country will no longer be divided. They'll unite because there are people in the South that have family members in the North and vice versa. They want to see their family members. They want to be united. They want to be a country, a whole country again.
I wonder how that would feel for them after being divided for so many years, have to integrate with these people who have lived with this different mindset for so long.
Yeah, I think there'll be some reluctance, but look at what happened to Germany, East and West.
True.
You don't even hear people talk about that anymore.
You're right. They're all.
It's Germany.
It's just been unified at this point. You're right.
So I think it's a possibility, and there's more plus to it than negative because, the South Korea is productive. They're manufacturing stuff and,
It
progressing. North Korea is still looking like, Beirut.
it seems like it's really just been like stuck in the past for the most part, kind of like how they said like kind of Cuba was for the most part.
Like Cuba, yeah, exactly.
Hasn't progressed in quite a while.
So I see some positives out of it. And, what we need to focus in on is getting rid of this whack-ball nut job of a president that we have.
That's what I was going to ask you next. How much longer do you think he really has? Like,
hell, man, I thought he should have been gone 30 days ago. But,
you're right.
Now his son-in-law whole debacle with, what is it? His son-in-law's wife is out inviting people to invest into this business venture in New Jersey, where if you are in China and you can afford to invest $500,000 or more, you get your green card. You get a green light to come to America. And, by the way, my husband used to run this company, and he's now an advisor to the White House. She said that in a meeting. Publicly. In this meeting, asking for investors to buy into this whole venture in New Jersey.
I'm gonna take a side note before we get back to this. I've spoken about this on my Instagram. Y'all need to stop snitching on yourselves publicly. Keep your business to yourself. Don't let your left hand know what your right doing. Keep them both behind your back. Whatever you gotta do. Wow.
Yeah, and Trump's daughter went over to China, and they've been trying to get some patents cleared in China for over 10 years.
Yeah, for the new. I saw that for some business ventures.
Exactly. So now, green light on that. All because he's the president of the United States. There's no question about it. And when the guy came over from China, you think they didn't cut some backroom deals?
It seems like he's really trying to run America like a corporate company instead of a country.
Said what he was going to do. I know business. I know how to run companies. I know how to negotiate. Yeah, you also know how to get this country in trouble. And long term, I think it's going to be in big debt.
No, definitely. Especially at the road way he's going weird.
You want to cut all these taxes? What are you going to pay the bills with? Okay, if you cut the income to the country through cutting your tax base, how are you going to pay for all of the services that we're providing? what that indicates to me is you're going to start cutting more and more services. More things that the United States is doing for its people, we the people who
Right.
vote these clowns in, and they have great opportunities for further financial advancement because they're all crooks. And, they need to start looking out for the people who put them in those seats. That's why I say every day on my show, it's time to go.
Yeah.
Flush the toilet, November 6th, 2018. If your representative, senator or House of Representative, is not serving your best interests, vote in Mickey damn Mouse. Anybody, but get these guys out. And you know what? That will send a signal to these career politicians that it ain't what it used to be. And you can't keep going status quo, taking care of yourself and doing the dump on the people.
Right. I was talking about that earlier too. I really feel like as a society we have this envisionment of that, like a real lack of unity. People don't want to work together. They want to work for themselves or work to get ahead of each other. And
absolutely,
it's bringing us to like a low point in times where like I'm seeing like just alone it's just a lot of chaos, a lot of corruption. You just see like a lot of people just bringing down each other, or even with ISIS doing all that stuff they're doing over in Syria and just just causing chaos. It's just we're in a really bad point. There's even some nuclear tension between Syria and Turkey at this point because of the involvement we have over there. So I've been watching that recently too. So hopefully that quells down, because I think we really will be the first generation to see a full nuclear war take off, and I think we're gonna have to live in a post-nuclear society. It's gonna be some really hard times.
I think most countries don't want to see the world go into another world war, and certainly not kicking into some kind of nuclear war, because that's gonna be very detrimental to the majority of not just the United States, but the world.
Exactly.
The type of bombs that are sitting dormant right now have not been used for 40, 50 years can end the world. If some trigger happy nutball pushes the button and a barrage of these missiles take off, I do believe that we have the ability of knocking them down
right
before they hit land. But those things are going to explode in the air, and the fallout from that will travel for thousands of miles because they're going to be high up in the air, so it'll be like rainfall.
Right, exactly.
Coming down in the ocean.
Trickling down. It's going to be in everything.
Yeah, even if they blow up over the ocean.
Soil, water,
it's going to kill everything in the ocean.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fish, water.
I was doing some thinking recently. I wonder what nuclear energy was initially meant for. Like, because I think really, everything has a purpose on this world. So I wonder what it could have been initially used for.
Well, I don't know what the initial intent was, other than creating an enormous amount of energy. So power plants. But if I remember correctly, bombs were used before power plants, nuclear power plants.
Yeah, they were, because after they made the first bomb, then they started looking into, okay, what
else can this be used for other than destruction? So it was a byproduct. It's like gasoline is a byproduct of crude oil and many other products, kerosene, gasoline, and some other leans, New Orleans.
Lean
Had
cups.
to throw a joke in there. But, so it became a byproduct of the nuclear bombs, nuclear power plants that are running electric for many countries, as well as many of the states and cities around the United States.
I wonder, or do you think if we did happen to have, because I do think at some point it's going to come down to we're going to have at least one nuclear war before the world realizes, like, okay, this is an entirely bad idea.
Well,
in the long run, do you think it would be possible to have the countries give up their nuclear arms? Do you think that would become a possibility?
I think that's a possibility if you love life more than hating and killing and destruction. Like when we bombed Japan.
Right.
Japan has been mellow, and we have realized that the destruction that we cause from using those bombs, most Americans don't want to see that happen again either.
Right.
Because a lot of innocent people died at the hands of those bombs. So I think we learned something from that experience. But I think that since then, there's been new generations of leaders that either don't understand how destructive that was, or they're just posturing to get something other than those bombs. Maybe they really don't want those nuclear bombs, but it shields the possibility of some other country or enemy coming in, taking over their country. So if I was in the area where Russia is and neighboring countries, I probably would want to have nuclear capabilities, but not really with the intent of going out destroying my neighbors.
Just as a really fancy shield, like, all right, look.
But to defend,
it's like having
or deter.
It's like having a scary looking dog, but he's a
right.
lovable
right.
sweetheart.
He'll lick you to death.
Yeah, as soon as you get to him.
Yeah. So I think that's some of the posturing that's being done in different parts of the world. But the mere fact that you have the capability and some crazy person gets access to it, you know, a lot of people believe that the head of the North Korea country may be crazy enough to blow something up like that.
No, definitely. I think if he had the app to do so, he definitely would.
He's proven that he's nuts because he's killed family members, you know. So if you kill your family members, what he thinks about you and I is probably zero.
Yeah, I don't know how he could do that to blood.
So I think he's a threat. Whether or not he has the capabilities. I mean, every missile that he's fired off has been a dud.
Yeah, so far they've all failed.
Now, is that a fake thing to make you think that he can't, but he really can? That's what some people believe. Some people think that he's maybe a year or two away from having the nuclear capabilities. And if that's the case, where did he get the technology and the knowledge from? China. So what is the best defense to that? We owe trillions of dollars to China. We need to become closer with them and get them to control their little mad dog sitting in the backyard. And say, hey, China, you better get a chain around this dog's neck and pull him in. You know, we owe you a lot of money. We don't want to go to war with you or anybody else for that matter.
Right.
But you got to calm this guy down. Give him a shot of something and get him on the chill scale.
Yeah, bring him back down to whatever little hidden activities he was doing before.
Right. So I look at it this way: if China supports his bad behavior, then they're just as bad as he is. They're doing business. They're doing commerce with him. They're selling goods and products.
They're trying to figure out the way to make a profit off of it while also staying politically away from it.
Yeah. So that's, everybody's dancing with their political football underarm. So it went a very tenuous era right now.
No, definitely. There's just a lot of high tensions all over this place.
Yeah, and I mean, if we had a more reasonable thinking president as opposed to a guy who knows nothing, zero about politics, and has finally admitted that he realized now that the job is tougher than what he thought it was going to be, that means to me that you're not as smart as you claim you are.
Exactly.
You didn't do your due diligence. You really didn't understand the structure of the United States government. You really didn't understand how it actually works. So you are a dangerous man to this country.
Yeah, just because he wanted to hop into the real power seat.
Yeah,
just to get over on everybody.
He had a private agenda. And that agenda was to make more money, to continue to brand his name, and to build a dynasty for him and his kids and his kids' kids.
Trump.
Yeah.
All in the which while he's trying to invoke wars that we might not even live to see. That's pretty ironic.
Exactly.
Yeah, Donald Trump, if you ever happen to come across this audio, please know we mean every word we say right now. Every word.
Exactly. So that's what we're faced with as it relates to our president and relations with the rest of the world.
Hmm. So let's see. Let us see what I can transition to until Mr. Lee comes back. Thanks for Mr. Lee for always helping me out, giving me some assistance. I always appreciate it. Alley oop. What else is going on? Oh, some more little celebrity tea, as Honey would call it. So it's not too something too important, but little Bow Wow was seen flexing on Instagram, posting private jets and saying that he was taking these expensive vehicles around to start doing this tour, but he's really caught being exposed by from stealing these pictures from other sites while he was really on a regular on a regular flight with just average people. So it seems like Bow Wow's trying to get himself back into the public graces, but the way he's going about things, I don't think it's really going to work out too well for him. So I also say we pray for Lil Bow Wow or excuse me, Shad Moss. Pray for Shad Moss and see what comes about it. Good old Bow Wow, always keeping us laughing. We have a Postmates coupon. Turn up. What else? Um, Sorry, y'all gotta bear with me. Oh, what? Oh, wow, they're finally putting El Chapo on trial. Joaquin Guzman, El Chapo, the Mexican drug lord, they're putting him on trial. What does it say? Joaquin Guzman, also known as El Chapo, returned to court this past weekend in New York City to receive his trial date, which is set for April 2018 by U.S. District Judge Brian Cogan. The Mexican drug lord, 59, was arrested on 17 counts, including numerous murders and kidnappings during his time overseeing the multi-billion-dollar international Sinaloa cartel. Present in the courtroom was his wife, Emma Cornal Aspuro, a former beauty queen who waved at her husband in the second row of the packed courtroom. Wow, he's really about to go to jail. That's crazy. I thought they would have been. I thought they would have broke him out at this point. That's what happened when that in the last jail he was in. He had dug a tunnel out. What does it say? Mexico's Attorney General Raul Cervantes recently announced that U.S. authorities have not found any money or trace of the illegal assets that belong to Guzman. As of today, U.S. authorities have not found not even $1 of El Chapo's assets, said Cervantes. His money hasn't been found because he didn't use the financial system. Guzman was captured last year after escaping Mexico from prison in Mexico twice, and he was extradited to the United States in January. Well, since I don't want no beef with El Chapo, I hope your trial works out for you, and leave it at that. In other celebrity news, the Hilton family still remains to be in it somehow. Conrad Hilton, 23-year-old heir to the Hilton family fortune, was charged on Tuesday with taking a car without consent and violating a restraining order. Hilton was charged with one felony of taking a vehicle. He was also charged with two misdemeanors of disobeying domestic relations restraining orders and one misdemeanor count of contempt of court, according to the LA County District Attorney's Office. His younger brother of Paris, Nikki, and Barron Hilton have been in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Los Angeles since his arrest on Saturday. Oh, so all three of the kids is caught up. That's crazy. Hilton allegedly tried to break into the home of voice actress E.G. Daily. TMZ reports violating a 2015 restraining order Daly's daughter, Hunter Daly Solomon, had against him. A radio call about the incident came into the police report about 4:50 a.m. LAPD officer Aaron Jefferson told people. Prior to that, police allege Hilton had gone to the home of Hunter's father, Rick Solomon, and took the 2007 Bentley Continental without his permission. Hilton has been on parole since 2015. Is scheduled to appear in court on Wednesday. Yeah, the Hilton kids just need to stay put. They're going through that OJ Simpson, that OJ Simpson symptom. They don't know how to stay out of the spotlight. What's going on in sports? NBA playoffs 2017. Ginobili lifts Kawhi Spurs to overtime with the Rockets. What's the final score? Spurs lead 3-2 as the series heads back to Houston for Game 6 Thursday night. Okay. What was the final score for tonight's game? I care about the points. Oh, wow, it was a close game. 110 to 107 in overtime. Hopefully the Spurs be able to take it all the way up to the playoffs and really make something happen of it. Hitting the dead again. Sorry, y'all. Y'all really got to bear with me.
Did you hear what the judge said about Hernandez?
No, what do you say about Hernandez?
Well, he basically said, hey, he's innocent. Now the man is dead, and the prosecutors are trying to repeal the judge's decision.
They found him innocent after. Wow.
Yeah. He said, hey, he's good. The man's dead now. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Well, I mean, I guess out of respect for the dead, you don't want to put on any negative connotation on the dead at that point.
Shoot, they don't care about that. I think they found this guy may not have committed the crime. I don't know. I mean, he seemed like a troubled guy. It was obviously he had some issues.
Yeah, and especially being in the limelight like that, it definitely wasn't helping. Yeah. It only fueled and made everything dramatically worse.
Yeah. It goes back to what I was saying earlier this week with my colleagues on the Lee Michaels show. A little plug there. 10 a.m. to noon, Monday through Thursday. Here on the Power of Voices. Most of the celebrities, sports figures, whether they're TV or movie, even business executives, need some type of media coaching.
Right.
What to say, when to say it, or what not to say, and some lifestyle coaching. When you get into the world and you start making a lot of money, you lose your damn mind.
Because
you start saying stuff and doing stuff that just doesn't make sense.
True.
Partying with all your heathen friends, all your Klingons, your buddies, your pals, but they're only riding with you because you got money.
Right.
And they're a bunch of knuckleheads. Not always, but in most cases.
Not 9 out of 10.
Yeah, so they influence your life, and you end up, all jacked up. And they say, oh, man, I'm sorry. Port's got all messed up, man. Wow. Are they going to be there when you need help? Are they going to take care of your family when you're sitting in jail?
They're looking for
or you dead?
They're looking for the next way up.
The next trip. That's right. So I think some of that needs to be in play.
Like in part of their contracts being getting that.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you $30 million a year or whatever. You're gonna have to spend, $200,000-$300,000 with some life and media coaching, or whatever, 50,000, whatever it costs. It's to ensure that you are a good citizen while you're getting this crazy money. It's like the kid that was drafted by the Chicago Bears.
Right.
First thing he's gonna buy, he was asked, "What's the first thing you're gonna buy with this big money you're now making?" As a draft pick, an AR-15. His mother, his father, or somebody in his family ought to slap the taste out of his mouth and knock him into the middle of next week.
An AR-15. Once again, ladies and
Out
gentlemen.
of all the things that you could say or want to buy,
Stop.
I'm going to buy a new house for my mom. I'm going to, donate $100,000 to my favorite charity.
Yeah, that boy crazy.
No, I want to buy an AR-15. The people that were interviewing him, they were like stone-faced and went, how do you respond to that? I'm sure the producer was yelling in their ears, go to a different topic, switch, let's go to a break. But, I mean, come on.
That's very specific, too. Like,
yeah.
It's not like,
I'm gonna buy a gun and, why? If I was the president of the Chicago Bears, I would have him in my office and be yelling at the top of my lungs. So what the hell is wrong with you? What was on your mind? What made you say that? You're making this organization look stupid for giving you all this money, and you're going to get on public television.
It also seems like he's trying to boost the negative connotation of Chicago. Assured by doing that too, because there's already massive
exactly.
Heavy artillery going in and out of Chicago with all the gang violence and everything. So
then what he should have said was, listen, I'm gonna do some positive things, and I'll probably donate some money to some charities, but I'm more concerned about the violence in the city of Chicago, and I'm gonna make a commitment today to be out there on the streets and working with these kids, and let's try to find some solutions. That's powerful. Even if you don't do it, for that moment, you are a hero. You've just gained a lot of fans. You can say, wow, this guy's a real young, concerned person, and he wants to help people.
Right.
He wants to stop the violence in Chicago. And you know what? Maybe he could pull that off. Wouldn't that be incredible?
If he
put a little effort into it, get the rest of some of the other members on his team to go out there and work with these kids and give them a different direction. Opportunity, advice. That's what these kids are looking for. They don't want to be gangbangers. You don't wake up and say, I'm going to be a gangbanger.
No, you're right. They're just looking for an opportunity, just trying to find a way out, basically.
That's right.
Everyone needs an escape.
So.
Yeah, but definitely, in the future for any new draft picks, please do not put your artillery preference
exactly
in interviews. That's something I don't need to know about you personally.
Makes no sense. Makes you look like Boo Boo the Fool.
What are you gonna buy? Oh, I'm gonna go buy me a Smith & Wesson.
He didn't say, a 38 or a 9. He said an AR-15, a semi-automatic assault weapon. Now, you gun enthusiasts out there, I'm sure you want to argue with me about the category of that gun. The fact of the matter is, you don't use an AR-15 to go out and do squirrel hunting. You don't use it to go out and kill a hog or deer or anything but people.
And it's definitely overdramatic use of protection.
And if you're that damn paranoid and you think you need an AR-15 to protect you, yourself, your family, or whatever,
as if you're preparing to go through a raid on your house, like you're preparing the zombie apocalypse.
Exactly. Maybe you need to move out of that neighborhood first.
Yeah, go buy you a nice house in the Midwest. Get you a safety bunker, and then call it a day.
Exactly.
Go be what do they call those days? A doomsday prepper.
Yeah.
have your safe room on lock.
Exactly. So, I mean, there's alternatives as opposed to living like a paranoid fool. Move out of that neighborhood.
No, definitely.
You might say, well, I can't afford to. Well, you can't afford to stay there.
Right.
So figure it out. Get creative.
Yeah, think outside the box. Find new alternatives and make the problem better instead of just.
That's right. staying there, living in a bad environment, is not in your best interest either. If you love your family, then make a way. If you have to sell everything you got and go out in the countryside, the worst thing you have to worry about then is maybe a rattlesnake.
That's not that bad compared to people.
Yeah, right.
A rattlesnake can at least warn you.
That's right.
He'll warn you before you strike. People won't give you that luxury. Have you ever had your fortune read before or anything like that?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I did, and
How was the experience?
um, it was kind of generic. I mean, a lot of things that it wasn't anything really amazing or so specific. One or two things that might have been make you go, but nothing really surprising or anything that really came true.
Okay.
Yeah.
I asked because I recently got, one of those, those junk emails with one of those. It was like, oh, free tarot card reading. I'm like, okay, I'll look into it. I'll see what it's
You'll
about.
give it a shot, huh?
Yeah, so I started reading into it, and how am I gonna look at the live feed, honey? I don't have that app on my phone. Sorry, I can't answer the live feed questions.
Oh, they want you to download an app?
Because I guess they're asking live feed questions on Facebook, but I don't have the Facebook app to go on to do that.
Oh.
Let me see if I can try to figure it out. Hold on.
Well, they wanted you to have a special app to do the tarot card reading?
Oh no, I'm talking about Honey right now. Just text me saying that they wanted me to read questions off the live feed for Facebook Live. No, but for the tarot card reading. So yeah, I've completed, got my information and everything, and so she sent it back, and she's like, "Oh yes," she's like, "I feel like I've known you for for all your life." So I'm just reading through, like, okay. And so I started reading stuff like you said, some similar generic stuff like, oh, I feel like someone stole your future from you, like someone's living the life that you should be living, and just a whole bunch of generic stuff. So I was just asking because I was curious about actually going to have someone like go out, like physically try to do it in front of me, but I was a little bit skeptical about fortune telling.
Yeah, well, you should be. It's one of the oldest con games known to man. I don't believe in it. And I would never spend 10, 15, 20, or 25. I don't know even what they cost.
What made you get it the first time?
We were walking down Melrose, my new wife at the time, and she said, well, let's go in and see what they say about our new marriage.
Right. And
they said it was going to last forever and stuff, and it lasted about 21 years. That's not forever, is it?
No.
Okay.
No. Unless forever means 20 plus.
Yeah, right. So they were guessing. I don't think there's no exact, Some people are gifted with bull jive, the gift of convincing you or making you believe that. And then I think, too, that a lot of people who go to these fortune tellers and all of that, they want to believe something good is going to happen. And these people know that, so they play on that emotion. And if they say, well, you're going to be wealthy and, you're going to meet someone that's going to bring you into wealth and you're going to have good health and if you do stuff. Certain things like eat the right stuff. I mean, come on, you don't need to go to a fortune teller to know that.
Put 2 teaspoons of mustard in your coffee every day, and you'll have good luck.
And come back and see me in 6 months, and let's see how things are looking at that time.
And I bet you'll have muscles now.
Yeah, right. So that's all a con game.
Are you religious in any sense?
Yes, I am, but I don't belong to a church because I don't believe in churches. I believe that there is a God. There's a spiritual part of me. I was raised as a Baptist, but I've seen so many negative things as it relates to various churches and the people that run them.
Politics.
And I can't support that.
No, I
don't want to be a part of that.
I definitely agree with you on that aspect. I think church is kind of like a stepping stone. Basically, you learn your foundation, and the base knowledge that you should take from it. And at that point, your faith is on you. At that point, how you go about strengthening
Exactly.
it. I was asking you that because, like I said, I really feel skeptical about psychics. But do you think that there are, like true prophets walking among us who can actually, see
No, I
what's
don't.
coming ahead?
No, I don't believe in prophets.
You don't think there's anyone like capable?
No. I've seen self-appointed prophets and spiritual people. I remember when Little Richard went to converting from a top 40 rock and roll R&B artist to being a preacher. And he came into my hometown to do one of those revivals under a tent and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was an elderly man, and he sat in a wheelchair most of the time. And on our front porch, he had a wheelchair there, and he had gotten up and walked in to go to the bathroom.
Right.
While he was gone, my sister, who was 9 years older than me, and I were out on the front porch, and she sat in his chair. Little Richard and his entourage was going down the street, and they saw her sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
He stopped his car and came up and introduced himself and said, can I pray for you? And, I believe I can heal you and blah, 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 blah. And she saw it. My sister was a character. She's no longer with us.
Mm-hmm.
But she said, yes, of course. And she knew who he was, right? Because she was a rock and roll fan of his. And he began to put his hand on her forehead and praying. And he said, sister, get up and walk in the name of God. And she got up and he started dancing around on the porch. And you should have seen the look on his eyes. Oh, my God. He thought he had performed a real, true miracle.
Had him believing in his own faith.
Yeah. He said, sister, will you come and testify tonight at the tent? And blah, 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 blah. She says, yes, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God. Oh, but she went on and on. She was playing right along with him. So I was like, well, she must have been 18, so I might have been like 7. And I was like amazed. I said, when he left, I said, Margaret, what did you do? Why did you do that, right? She said, oh, I was just messing around with him. I said, yeah, but he believes he did that.
Played his head a little bit.
Yeah. So obviously she did not go to the tent that night and testify. Yeah, right.
He's probably building up the crowd like,
exactly.
I have this woman.
Yeah,
she's coming.
She's
coming.
She's going to prove. So, yeah. So there are characters out there like that.
Yeah, I really don't like these cable evangelists too much.
No.
When I used to work for the post office, in my district that I used to sort mail through, I used to have a lot of the people used to send mail to Peter Popoff, and it used to be literally like 10, 15 trays of just money filled envelopes, either checks or coins or whatever, just thousands of dollars people just sending to these people. And I'm just like, I get that you want to tithe, you want to pay towards something, but I was like, I think that a lot of people are being duped into just feeding someone's revenue and feeding their ego while they act as if they're something that they're not, basically.
Yeah.
I think that's the true downfall of these TV evangelists. They try to make people like perceive and believe these false connotations that they're presenting.
Absolutely. And there are people that are gullible to the extent that they believe that what these guys are saying is true and real, and they buy into it and they start sending money. Buy a prayer cloth, buy this holy oil, and come on, folks. They get some water and put a little olive oil in it.
Yeah,
and
mix
sell
up
it
a little bit.
$15 or whatever. I don't know what they charge for it, but it's a scam.
Yeah, I think something should definitely be done about that. I feel if you really want to, like I said, encourage the word of God, you have to really go out and act on your own and be able to, at least if you're not going to preach it, then at least promote it through your actions.
Exactly.
If nothing else.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring up Honey's Closet because...
For the feed, yeah. I was trying to do it too, but it's not...
yeah, this is not the right Honey's Closet. What is it? The Closet?
Yeah, THA Closet.
Yeah. THA.
Let me see if I can re-download the app really quick.
Honey. Bring that up for you so you can
Communicate with the people.
Yeah.
Even though she did say she was going to go on.
About 9:20?
Yeah, about 9:20. Let's see.
Why is this thing so hard to find?
Needle in a haystack.
We can go on the Power of Voices. It's there as well. Well, maybe I think the comments you wanted us to read is on
the live,
Honey's.
though.
Yeah. This thing, I'm typing in THA and it changes it to HA. What is wrong with this stupid keyboard? THA, the closet photos. No, here's what I want right here.
It won't even let me download
Gee
Facebook.
whiz.
That's crazy.
Okay, here we go. I'll give you the iPad and you can see what they got.
Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, sorry. We can't take calls tonight. The phone lines are down, so yeah, unfortunately, we won't be able to take calls. But shout out to Biggie Beats and Val for checking in. Shout out to G Money Guillory for checking in. Glad y'all were able to try to call in. I appreciate the love, so thank you. Let's see. Hold up. Let us see. Let's see. Any Uber stories, Lee? Do you have any Uber stories?
There's always at least one Uber story. Let's see, which one should I share with you? Well, I went by one of these nightclubs on La Cienega Boulevard, just south of, what is that, Santa Monica.
Okay.
On the west side of the street. I don't know the name of it, and I've picked up people there a couple of times now. But when you go by there, between 2 and 2:30, it's like a crowd of people out there waiting for Uber and Lyft cars and limos and all that.
Yeah, because all the clubs are closing at that point. So.
Yeah, and it's always hectic. They have police out there directing the traffic and all that. So I pull up because I was picking up someone. I can't remember her name, but it was a lady, and she was talking to some friends, and and she eventually came over to the car.
Right.
And so she got in, and I took her to her place, and I was friendly with her and everything. But as she was getting out, she said, "Well, thank you very much for the ride," and blah 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 blah. I said, "Well, yeah, get some rest, and you got to. I assume you have to get up and go to work in the morning." She said, "No, I work at night." I said, "Oh yeah, well, what kind of work you do?" She says, "I'm a stripper," and she was knocked down, drag out, gorgeous, great body, face, the hair. I mean, really? I mean, to those strippers out there, I'm not trying to offend you, but. I mean, she was a gorgeous young woman.
Right.
I don't think she was even 30 years old. But why do you have to do that? I mean, and she seemed fairly intelligent. She carried on a short conversation because she was only like going 2.5 miles, so I didn't get a chance to really talk with her a lot.
Just off my base knowledge of strippers, the club money can be good depending on where you go.
Yeah.
It just depends on the type of clientele you can bring in.
I guess.
Like I've known.
That's right, because you had a relationship with a stripper, didn't you?
I'm
in love with a stripper.
I never had a relationship with a stripper. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been acquainted with a few strippers before.
Oh, okay.
But one of the ones I've known, she was brought back about 3,000 one night before.
3,000 a night? Oh, hell, I'll strip.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
But
Yeah.
they'd probably make me pay them to show my body. So that wouldn't work for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I think that's the only reason why certain women do it. But yeah, it's great.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've met a whole bunch of different array of strippers before.
Yeah.
I've even had one try to con me and connive me to get more lap dances so she can buy herself furniture.
Oh yeah, they all
the
got
next morning of.
con stories. Yeah. Yeah, I'm putting my way through school.
Oh
and-
no, it wasn't a con story. She told me, "Oh, come get a dance." I was like, "Oh no." She's like, "Come on, I need to go buy bar stools." I'm like, "What?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "I have bar stools. I have them on hold right now. I need to go buy my bar stools." I was like, "Wow, that's
well,
really
you
crazy."
know, keep dancing, mama. I'm not gonna be your victim tonight.
Yeah.
That's pretty bodacious.
I
you
was
know.
caught off guard by that one.
Yeah.
She was kind of nice though. She shared a pizza with me at least, so I think she was like, "Okay, I give you pizza, so now you give me money from my bar stools." that was her trait
You
for it.
shared pizza with a stripper.
Pizza and conversation. Strippers are very interesting.
She bought the pizza, or you did?
She bought the pizza.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she's happened to be on her break or whatever, and she was like, "Oh, do you want some pizza?" I'm like, "Oh, me and Marty been drinking," so I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure, why not?"
Right. Wow. Well, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, the club
Usually-
life is very interesting depending how you approach it.
Wow. If you conned a stripper out of a slice of pizza, you might be one step away from being a pimp. That's pretty powerful, buddy.
I also had this one time I went to the strip club with one of my friends, and
Mm-hmm.
this girl had approached me, and so she was kind of like flirting with me or whatever. And then so she goes, and she comes up to me. She introduced herself. She was like, "Yeah, I'm so and so." She's like, "I strip and I'm a porn star." I'm like, "Oh, you do porn?" She was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, that's cool." She was like, "Oh, hold on, I'll pull up one of my videos for you." I was like, "Okay." So she's looking for herself. She can't find herself, and then she keeps scrolling to a couple pages. So she finally pulls it up on my phone, and she has this video of this some type of machine that's penetrating her. So I'm watching
Wow.
this, and she's like, "Yeah, that's me right there." She's like, "Yeah, I did this like a month ago." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I'm like, "I'm not sure where this is going." She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh," she's like, "We need to talk. We need to sit down and converse." I'm like, "Okay." So I'm already thinking like, "Okay, she's wanted something out of me. I'm not just gonna play it by ear and see what
definitely.
happens." So she's like, "Okay, yeah." She's like, "This go order a drink and I'll be right back. I'll be back in 5 minutes." I'm like, "Okay." 5 minutes
Wow.
pass, doesn't come back.
Yeah, of course.
10 minutes pass, doesn't come back. I look around. I'm like, okay. At this point, I think this girl's finally.
It's time to.
Yeah, she's officially left the
Stage
building.
left. Right. You out of here. Well, it looks like Honey is in Las Vegas, and she's ready to take on the rest of the show live from Las Vegas.
So we're gonna
we're-
pass it over.
Yeah, we'll end this broadcast and stay tuned right here. Is she going to do it on The Closet?
Yeah, she should be doing it on The Closet.
Okay, so stay tuned right here on The Closet Facebook page, and you'll see Honey live from Las Vegas. And with her sidekick, what's his name? The Joker.
The Joker.
The Joker. All right, so thank you, and
That's it. So this has been Honey's Closet. So y'all stay tuned in.